What if I told you that they were fooling everybody when it came to Dak Prescott? The Dallas Cowboys are notoriously a team that is supremely talented, but the Cowboys have not always got the most production out of their talent, at least on the offensive side of the football. And hey, look, I know the Cowboys offense has been good, maybe even great this past season, and they've had seasons dating back 5 years or so where the offense looked downright unstoppable with an offensive line that nobody wanted to go against. The Cowboys have one of the best running backs in the league. They have a top quarterback who can play at a very high level, and if you don't agree with me, well then you might just have to hear me out by the end of this video. Not only do the Cowboys have this supremely talented quarterback who can play within the top 5 and showcase his skills, but they also have a receiver in Amari Cooper who can do just about anything. Since Amari Cooper's departure from the Oakland Raiders and his arrival in Dallas, things changed, and they changed fast. Not only for the Cowboys offense, but for Dak Prescott. The Cowboys coaching over the past couple of years has been questionable, to say the best. We've seen quarterbacks go from completely average or even bad to good with the right coach. It's absolutely absurd how some people still sleep on the impact that coaches can have in the National Football League. When the Cowboys defense started to perform and started to outperform their expectations, I immediately looked at their defensive coordinator. I'm not saying the defense hadn't been talented, but I'm just saying that defensive coordinator was getting a lot out of what he had. Again, coming from a Saints fan who has every reason to root against the Cowboys, roster-wise, I think this is one of the best rosters in the entire NFL. And I also think Dak Prescott has gotten an absurd amount of hate. When you look at the season that Dak Prescott had this past year, it's absolutely ridiculous. He passed for almost 5,000 yards. Oh yeah, and he dropped in 30 touchdowns and only 11 interceptions. What was the big change? Well, the Cowboys finally had an offensive coordinator who was willing to work with Dak Prescott, who was willing to be innovative. It's crazy how far coaching can go in the NFL, and I think you'll hear me say that a lot on this channel. Football is a lot more chess than a lot of casuals may know. Scheming to get players open, motioning and putting players in positions to create mismatches to get the best out of that player goes very, very far. So how can Dak Prescott pass for almost 5,000 yards on an elite touchdown interception ratio and still get hate? The answer is very easy. Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott. He plays in one of the biggest media markets in the entire NFL. Or should I say one of the most hyped teams and biggest fan bases in the entire NFL. The Cowboys have had a target on their back for quite some time. The media loves to talk about Dallas. Why? Because it gets views. Why does it get views? Because the people want to hear about the Dallas Cowboys. There have been rumblings around the league about what the Dallas Cowboys should pay Dak Prescott, about whether Dak Prescott is a top-tier quarterback or not, if Dak Prescott has what it takes to succeed at the highest level. And oh boy, today the hot takes were sizzling. Now, before we go any further, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. I will also be streaming today. My Twitch link will be in the description below. And I also upload Madden content and NBA content. Both of those links will also be in the description, so check those out. The streams are awesome, guys. You will not want to miss it. Also, starting next week, every Sunday I'll be dropping one banger that you guys will for sure not want to miss. Football Sundays are gone. Well, that's no problem. Red Zone is here to hold it down. There's been so much NFL news. I honestly can probably get you guys an upload a day or an upload every other day for the foreseeable future. You won't want to miss it. Again, be sure to subscribe. I want you guys to comment down below what type of money you think that Dak Prescott deserves. Reportedly, This is a report from earlier today. Dak Prescott turned down a 5-year, $175 million contract offer from the Dallas Cowboys. It would have made him the highest paid quarterback in NFL history. Prescott instead is seeking north of $45 million in the final season of his new deal, reportedly. Emphasis on reportedly. I do think it's funny that every quarterback seemingly becomes the highest paid quarterback, and we're like kind of looking at a trend. Now, with this Dak Prescott deal, I do think he should be paid around top dollar, if not the highest paid quarterback, because it is going to be the most recent quarterback contract. Again, once he signs, it's the most recent contract. I mean, we've been viewing this for other positions too. Michael Thomas just became the highest paid receiver in the NFL, and he thinks he deserves more money. And I'm not sure, but Michael Thomas and his contract might have already been passed. I'm not sure if like Julio or somebody else signed a more recent extension. I do think it's funny that people think that there's a possibility that the Cowboys and Dak won't come to an agreement. Jerry Jones has paid almost all of his key players recently, and I have to say that it would be absurd to pay Zeke, to pay the defensive end DeMarcus Lawrence, to pay Amari Cooper, and then you have the most important position in the NFL arguably, and you would try to not pay that player. Now, I want this to be as respectful as possible in the comments section, but going into a second year with Kellen Moore, I think Dak has a legit shot to contend for the MVP title. I have not talked about CeeDee Lamb this video. I have not talked about Michael Gallup, two guys who are much better than almost every number 2 receiver in the league. These guys have number 1 receiver potential. Amari Cooper, Lamb, Gallup. Good offensive line, great running back in Zeke, great offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. Dak has talent. He's showcased it. He's going to do damage this upcoming season. But now this is where things start to spiral, and you start to see the downside of some of the media. Reportedly, this negotiation for $175 million that Dak reportedly turned down is not true. The two sides have never discussed such scenarios or anything like it. Dak wants a shorter deal. The Cowboys want a longer one. July 15th is the deadline. In the past, I'm just going to say Sims has had some very interesting reports for better or for worse. But what a report like this does is it does get everybody talking, and everybody talking about Dak Prescott, some in a positive light, more in a negative light. We've seen so much misinformation on the Cowboys negotiation with Dak, but ultimately I do feel that the Cowboys and Dak will come to a reasonable deal that is good for the team and for Dak. Let me know what you guys think of all this in the comments below. And what type of damage do you think Dak has the potential to do next season? Not just Dak, but also the Dallas Cowboys. Be sure to click the video on the screen right now, guys. It's incredibly dope. Be sure to subscribe, turn noties on. I'm D Coop, and I'm out.